Hello, Naveen, sir. So you're on mute. Okay, sir, I'll just take 10 seconds of your nodding, which we are going to use it later for the filler shots. So it's just like you're listening to a conversation and just nod, sir, if you can, just for 10 seconds. Naveen, sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you.
Yes, sir. So I just wanted 10 second of your nodding, which we are going to use it later for the filler shots. So it's
Sure.
just like you're having a conversation and just nod for 10 seconds, sir. Some serious, some smiling, mixed. Yes, sir. Done, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Ashwani, sir, same goes for you, sir. Just simple, like 10 seconds of nodding,
Sure.
smiling.
Make sense?
Yes, sir. Some, sir, 2, 3 seconds of serious one.
Okay.
I got a lovely smiling one. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Uh, Mansoor, sir, I'll come back to you, sir. 1 second. Hello, Rajesh, sir. Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Now we can hear you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Sir, can you see there's one option called cam/mic? So click on that. So there's an option called show advanced options. So are you there in the option called show advanced option?
Sir, you are on mute in case you're talking.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So yeah, so click on this show advanced option. There is a full high definition
Full ID.
1080p option. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just click on that. Yes, sir.
Done.
Done. So now we'll do your frame check. So we want you in the center. So
Mm-hmm.
just shift little bit. Yes, sir. The laptop will shift to your towards your left, sir. Just a little bit. Yes, sir. So there is a marker, red marker I can see behind the
Yeah.
board. Just remove it, sir. Thank you. That's it, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Pubali, are you okay with the frame?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, great then. Okay. Uh, so, I would request all of you to don't put your mic in mute. I'm going to mute and unmute your mics. So all of you can unmute your mic, and I'm gonna mute it and unmute it. So the speaker will speak, and then you guys will speak like that. Okay. And Pubali, are we waiting for one more guest?
Yes, we have Manish. He will join in another 5 minutes. This is what he was saying. Uh, Apeksha, you there?
Yes, Pubali, I'm there.
Do you want to start and then when I'll introduce him
I
when
think let's start. Mr. Munish will join us eventually.
All right, all right.
Okay.
So Monta, you need to put one extra frame. So later on, when He
So
joined
I'm doing
and
the full screen only, and later in the post we'll do that. Okay.
okay.
Okay. So Rima, we are going live now with you. Okay.
No,
Hello, everyone. Hello,
sorry.
everyone. I am Rima Tendulkar from CNBC TV18, and I will be moderating today's conversation. So, a warm welcome to all of you, and thank you very much for joining us. We'll keep the conversation free flowing, so please feel free to interrupt whenever. So, are we good to start?
1 second, gentlemen, please unmute your mic, all of you. I'll do the mute and unmute from my part, from my end.
Mansoor sir, your frame is still. We have moved your frame, I think. You need to. So you are unmute. Please unmute, sir.
Yeah.
So this will be your usual sitting position, because if you
Yeah.
move backwards, then we have this will be your. You will not move back and forth, no? Like while
Okay.
talking, we tend
So,
to, yeah.
so I'll try to be in the similar position. Yeah.
All right, thank you, sir.
Uh, we can't see Mr. Rajesh. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm muting all of you except Rima. I'm just taking 1 second. Mansoor sir, please unmute your mic so that I can do it. Yeah, better. Yes. Rima, please go ahead.
I'm starting. Hello and welcome to CNBC-TV18.com Industry Knowledge Exchange Conclave powered by SAP. Now we know that enterprises today are facing the pressure to cut costs and find creative and efficient ways to optimize production in a post-pandemic world. One of the key enablers to achieve this is procurement. The onus of establishing economic and business growth at enterprises lies with the procurement sectors and to ensure that the company is equipped with agile functions in a dynamic environment. Today, I'm joined by an esteemed panel of industry leaders who are going to tell us how they are bringing this change in their respective industries to enhance organizational procurement and elevate production and business performances. Joining me, Sharad Gargia, the Group Chief Commercial Officer at Vedanta Limited, Mr. Naveen Ahlavat, the Chief of Procurement at JSPL, Mr. Rajesh Uppal, CIO of Maruti Udyog Limited. We also have with us Mr. Munish Gupta, the Head of Procurement at HCL Technologies, Mr. Mansoor Akhtar, the Head of Indirect Procurement South Asia at Reckitt Benckiser, and Mr. Ashwini Narang, the VP Intelligence Spend Group at SAP. And I am Rima Tendulkar from CNBC TV18. Gentlemen, a warm welcome to you today. Before we get the discussion started, I would request Mr. Ashwini Narang of SAP to set the context about this Industry Knowledge Exchange Summit. Ashwini?
Sure, Rima. Very happy to see you. We always were fond of one Mr. Tendulkar, as we all know him, Sachin Tendulkar, fondly in India. We're very happy to see another Tendulkar doing the rounds. Great to see you here, Rima, today. Thank you very much for having us, and welcome to all the people on the panel. You know, great to see them. I know some of them personally, and I have been interacting with them. Now, if you look at this initiative by SAP in together with CNBC TV18, we are calling it is the Industry Knowledge Exchange. This is the confluence of thought leadership, basically, where the local industry relevance and technology are basically under one roof. So you have people, stalwarts coming from the industry, and we have some flavor which would be coming from the SAP side in terms of technology. It's one of the kind of platform, for the industry peers to exchange ideas, to share knowledges, best practices, next practices, as we call them, as regulatory policies, industry trends, as we call them as. Now it is created in the collaboration with industry experts like you. We have so many esteemed panelists today with us. Industry association, which is coming more from CII, Retailers Association, Indian Pharma Alliances, etc. We also have consulting partners who are coming in the form of, say, BCG, Deloitte, EY, and then SAP is also exploring ideas and initiatives to drive the growth across the industry. We are going to do a series of knowledge exchange forums, pulse surveys, expert opinions, basically to co-innovate and solving the problems real time. What are happening in the industry from a procurement technology standpoint. It will also soon have industry ambassador program where we are going to have leaders and industry experts like you who are going to join us as mentors, as guides to the professionals in some of the panel discussions, juries for awards, etc. So the idea is to basically kickstart this forum and basically have stalwarts like you to achieve across various industry segment insights and have some engaging conversation. And that's what I look forward to, Rima. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ashwini. This forum is great to exchange ideas, share ideas, as you pointed out. In talking about problems, we know that the ongoing shifts and imbalances in supply and demand have led to companies across geographies and industries recognize how critical digitizing operations is when it comes to procuring goods and services to keep the global economy running, which is why sourcing and procurement processes have assumed strategic operational importance today. But let's kickstart this discussion. Rajesh Uppal of Maruti Suzuki, first question to you. Historically, one would have thought that streamlining procurement processes was done to cut costs, to bring in efficiency. But how can it be a value enabler? How does procurement change from being seen as a cost saver to a key value enabler?
Rima, your voice is cracking, so I couldn't really hear the question completely. Can you repeat the question or put it on the chat box?
Okay. No, my question is that historically, we always thought of digitizing procurement to bring down costs, to bring in efficiency. But now increasingly, it's also being done to enhance value, to bring in value maximization. So can you talk about how procurement is making this switch from being a cost saver to a key value enabler?
Sure. Thanks, Rima, and thanks for having me here today. Very clearly, the whole landscape of procurement is changing. One very, very important element I personally feel is the whole ability to manage the procurement the way you do in your day-to-day life. Today with the Amazon kind of buying or the e-commerce kind of buying all of people do at their homes, I think everybody want to have that kind of experience in their working place also, where you can compare products, you can look at which value what product, what value, and also have a very smooth experience of doing the procurement. Now traditionally, IT the automotive organization was using the traditional way of buying things around, to do that. Now you need a lot of automation to really manage that process, which is a more experience based and also create best possible value into that. Now that's a big change which is happening in the industry today, and it has been going on for quite some time now. So we are looking at the whole process of procurement from point of view of the way you give experience to both the buyer and the suppliers. Also, the experience of getting right value out of the buying. You have all the information available to you for taking right decision about buying, and also the whole process is governed in a best possible way. Now that's the big change which I think industry are adopting, and industry like us are adopting, and we are looking forward to get that process adopted by each one of the departments of the organization, to ensure that you get a maximum possible value from the investment you are doing.
Okay, so the focus is on value, but also more importantly in achieving a smooth, seamless experience, quite like the Amazon shopping experience. Thank you, Rajesh, for bringing that. Naveen, what are the current trends in procurement? In what parts of the procurement process are you using technology at your company?
See, Maruti is known for running is one of the best efficient systems and all, where we call it just-in-time inventory for our manufacturing. So there we run long-term contracts and we manage those contracts to really uh, be efficient and and we are known in the industry to run our manufacturing with less than a day inventory at any point of time. So the efficiency has been a big hallmark of working. But I think on the indirect area where we have a large amount of buying and large transactions being done over there, I think that's the big focus area, which right now we have been streamlining that, and we have been rather transforming that way of working, where the new technologies of right from sourcing to end-to-end procurement process, we're looking at to be have on digital framework, and also being transparent, and also with the very clear focus on experience for everybody there. I think that has been our way of working going forward.
Hi, I think Rima's connection is gone. Yeah, she's going to log in. Sorry, gentlemen.
Does this happen often? I've never seen it on live.
Never, sir, never. This is happening for the first time. Even we were shocked. We are just talking with each other at the back. What happened? Like nobody can hear anything. I think she's
I don't
going to
know.
join.
Is my voice clear? Because Rima's voice to me was coming very metallic sound kind.
Oh,
I don't know.
oh, okay,
Your
sir.
voice
Yes,
is
sir.
very clear, Upalji.
Yeah.
I don't know what is happening on the other side.
Rajesh sir, sorry, but when we were doing the tech check, no, you were sitting straight, so the frame was right. Now you
Acha.
leaned back, so you
Okay.
need to
Yeah.
tilt down the laptop screen a little bit. Oh, she's here, sir. Guys, 1 second.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like whatever your final position, yes, sir. This is good. And she's here. Pubali, are you checking with Rima?
Yeah. I am.
Guys, actually, there's some technical issue, at Rima's end. Just give us 2 minutes. We are really sorry for this. Just 2 minutes. The IT person is checking there.
CNBC team, you're there?
Yes, so we are here. I was messaging the IT only. Actually, they are checking at their end. There's some technically goof up that happened. They said that it will take maximum 2 minutes. I'm
Okay,
really, really sorry, sir. I mean, this is it never happened before, but it was quite
no problem,
unfortunate
no
it
problem.
happened. Hello, Rajesh sir. I can hear
These
you. Okay, I
these
have
are
a
the
hotspot
shortcomings of the
also.
digitization.
Hey, talk of the technology, and technology
It's
can get you into
it's
trouble
been some
sometimes.
years, but today it just we're trying to sort it at our end. So please bear with us. I'll type the questions here. You can record. Okay.
Hi. Actually, while the IT guy is fixing Rima's system, so she just asked that if you all are okay to wait for another 2-3 minutes, or she can type some questions in the chat box, and if you want to record that, we can do that as well. So please let us know whatever is convenient for everyone.
I'm okay either ways.
Yeah, it's 2-3 minutes is fine.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Is this fine? Can you all hear me?
Yeah, Rima.
Yes,
Yeah,
Rima.
Rima. Rima, just fix your frame. No, I can see the red sticker on your back. Just, yeah, place yourself in the middle. Yes.
Okay.
Ashwini sir, Rajesh, please come online. We can't see him. Yes, sir. Rajesh sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay, Rima, I think we need to resume
Okay.
again
Yeah.
from starting from Rajesh sir.
The first question. Hello.
First was done, I think. Second was
First is
also
done,
done.
right? First is
Second
done.
was also done.
Sir, first one was done, but sir, your position was not right at that time. I don't know if you can. Like, it's up to you, sir.
Let's do that because, as I said, at 2 o'clock I have a hard stop. I have a next meeting to join.
Okay,
So
Sure, sir.
no problem, sir. So, Rima, yes.
Yeah. Naveen, if you could share your thoughts on the current trends in procurement, in what parts of the procurement process are you currently using technology?
Yeah, see, I think as Mr. Upal have explained, about the disruption, the current disruption right now in the supply chain. So I think the entire supply chain, we can see a lot of trends, disruptive trends where we are actually forced to take to adopt or to embrace the new technologies. Be it in terms of data minings, be in terms of really churning out the data, the trends. So we basically in a company we use SAP, and we are contemplating a lot of new basically softwares, new licenses which we are thinking, because we need to enhance, we have to take this journey forward. So, and digitalization is one of the enabler which can really take us to the path of good to great. So this is our understanding of the things, and plus we are coming from the conventional basically industry like steel, where we can use technology to do a predictive maintenance. In case the mill is not running efficiently, we can pull out the data, we can see what are the trends, where the things have gone wrong, how we can improve it, so we can bring in a lot of operation excellence into play with the help of digitalization. So these are my thoughts on this, Rima.
No, absolutely. Technology is no longer good to have, but a must have. And the pandemic has forced a lot of enterprises' hand in going digital. Ashwini, can you share your thoughts on the active role of technology in helping procurement thrive in the future, to adapt itself to the new normal?
Yeah, I mean, I think great thoughts have already been shared by Mr. Uppal and Mr. Naveen, and few things are definitely coming out. Even if you look at the way technology is growing, or let's say the economy is going to grow. So there's a recent report by World Bank, WEF, and SAP has done its own benchmarking, and of course the credit rating firms. If you look at the physical economy of Asia, it's pegged to grow at around 8%. For the next 3 to 4 years. That's something which has been said. But if you look at the digital economy, it is pegged to grow around 20 to 25%. Now that's a 3 times growth over a physical economy growth. And I think as a part of that, you would see a lot of startups have now started evolving, not only in India, but I think across Asia. So, the trends are basically getting you towards a digital era or a digital world, so to say. And there was another report which I was looking at that was given by Hecate, and that has few important things which has mentioned, in terms of procurement. So if you look at a digital world-class procurement organization as compared to a typical procurement organization, that is using 25% spending less than a procurement organization and 6% less than a world-class organization. So you have now 3 things. You have somebody who's a procurement organization and a world-class procurement organization and a digital world-class procurement organization on top of it. And I think this is basically the beauty of technology. Of course, along with technology comes the imperatives around it. And I think we are talking about technology enablement. We are talking about data and analytics. We are talking about operating model. Looking in there. We are also talking about talent. It's very easy to say. Naveenji mentioned that probably we are looking at getting from good to great. And I think in that process, talent becomes very, very important. And that's where probably you will need to see. It is easy to probably get a technology, but it's the way you're going to implement it. It's going to be very, very important as well. So I think technology is going to play a key role when it comes to digitalizing the whole procurement experience back for them. And I think technology is getting involved, and that's where the networked economy is going to take the pace. Thanks, Rima.
Okay, so workforce management is going to go hand in hand with procurement best practices as well. Sharad, Vedanta is a global company. I'm sure there are a lot of complexities which are involved when you have to manage the procurement processes across various countries. Can you talk about your procurement process? Are you already seeing a transformation in the way goods are sourced, purchased, and paid for?
Thank you, Rima. I guess the most important part, as you rightly said, Vedanta, of course, is a diversified natural resource company, and we have 7 businesses. And geographically located, and in terms of sourcing as well, it's pan India and overseas as well. We import a lot of stuff. So the whole point here is, when we talk about complexity, I think technology comes as a savior. I would want to put a different perspective, or maybe simplify and decode it a little bit. So procurement, usually, if you talk about conventional procurement, it was all about buying products as we require in our operations. Now the time, there is moving to more from procuring products to procuring solutions which are directly linked to your business outcomes and specialization. Now, how do you do that? In fact, just to give you a very relevant example, for example, we are in mining industry, and we use thousands of big mining tires into our operations. Now, one would, let's say a couple of years back, one would buy tires and that's a commodity which you buy at a certain cost. Now, with time and with technology and what you want to do and convert, you want to bring it to a solution which is enhancing the tire life in your mines, which takes you to the studying of compounds which will be suitable for the geotechnical areas. So the whole point is basically, how do you convert a simple buying into a solution? And that's where I think most important part the technology helps you in, by weaving the gap. The gap is basically data. Data of the product which you are buying, how does it get applied into your operations? How does it get consumed? What impact it makes into your operation? I think so long as we have that dashboard, through technology, once it is weaved, the visibility comes. And the moment visibility comes, the solution comes. And then, of course, the business houses or the service provider or the business partners, I would say, becomes very important. But they have also been working towards providing solution. That's how the industry is moving, at least as far as our industry is concerned. And then people come forward, they study the data, they look at the data through technology, and then the solutions are provided and developed over a period of time. And that's where you reduce not the cost, but the total cost of ownership, and add value to your business. And that's fundamentally important to my mind in terms of structural shift. So the gap in terms of the conventional procurement and the new age procurement is basically data, and that data gets viewed through the current technology platform. You can digitize your operations seamlessly. You can predict the behavior and the planning. Like, I'll give you another example of typical conventional buying in terms of, let's say, stores and spares, which is for our kind of operations, or any operation for that matter, is 80% transaction and 20% value, or less than that at some point in time. Now, if you digitize that completely, we have been using SAP for 2 decades, just to tell you, our organization, and we are into SAP Ariba platform as we speak. And the whole idea is that how do we, use the analytics tool? How do we create and use the new age startups, as Ashwini mentioned that, how do you get them to build a solution, weave a solution for you, so that you don't run stores anymore. You just get just in time what you need, and the basic backend, the analytics, to ensure that your plant operations are secured. The entire planning, the entire data, which is coming through your dashboards, tells you that what would you need. And then there are startups, who are disrupting the industry, whose core day-to-day job is to, buy, for example, MRO spares. So the whole idea is tie up with them, release the bandwidth of your commercial organization, and the commercial team can work on techno-commercial initiatives to drive value, and you get a solution that releases the entire bandwidth of the organization. So that's how disruptive a technological solution, can come, if you really ask me. So that's the clear part. And our objective as Vedanta is that how do we create that disruption? And we create touchless buying, actually, completely touchless buying, and we don't buy products, we buy solutions. So that's how we are approaching the subject, completely.
Interesting. Mansoor, could you share your thoughts on this topic? And if you have any examples in which you could share how digitization has impacted your business in value terms? You're on mute.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, in Reckitt, we believe digitization is one of the core areas we need to invest in, and wherein we get maximum value out of it. So we are using different platforms in procurement. The electronic platform, for example, you talked about Ariba, wherein we can bring down the value, more transparency, more compliance, and all of that. And Reckitt, our core value, our core compass says that that do the right things always. It goes with that, bringing all the things. Then there is a data analytics tools we are using to derive the data. Taking the understanding the highest spend which we are doing in what areas. We are doing that through a digital tool. The SRM, we are doing lot of things on a digitization platforms, wherein we can find out how procurement can be a growth enabler to the organization, because as one of the members said, procurement is not looking at just as a cost saving function. We have to think well level up as a business partner. Then only we can drive growth in the organization.
Okay, so it's not just a cost saver, but a growth enabler, and it's all about joining the dots using data. Ashwini, a lot of the companies are using SAP solutions, and solutions is now clearly the way to go, like SAP Ariba. Could you share some examples of your solutions with your clients and how they resulted in tangible outcomes in bringing down costs or bringing down cycle time reductions?
No, yeah, absolutely. And I think very happy to see, the way Sharad mentioned about SAP Ariba, for sure. I have been into procurement for such a long time now. And in fact, my entire career is around supply chain. And the good part is we don't call it supply chain now, it's a supply network, I would say. For example, every one of us who's there on the system right now, we all have a problem. Most, let's say there's a machine under breakdown. Now it's very easy to say, the machine went under breakdown, and I can get into the system and I can look for a person, who can probably come in and sort this out. What if I do not know who is the person from an OEM perspective who's going to come in and actually sort this out for me? What if I do not know where is the manual for this? What if I do not know, how to actually sort this out for me? Because it's a small problem probably, but I don't have the ready-made solution to it. Now, do I have something which is like an asset intelligence network in place where I'm connected seamlessly through all my OEMs, for all my machinery, and that's where I basically, pick up a request in the system, and the system shows me a glossary of all the problems, and probably I'm getting connected to the OEM straight away within a span of 10 seconds to probably understand, who probably can come from his side and actually look at the machine. On the other hand, if it is very easy to say, if somebody calls from a procurement, where's my material? And this person might say, you know what, it left my warehouse this morning and it's going to be in your office or in your warehouse, or let's say in your shop floor by the end of the day. But then how do I know where it is right now? Maybe it's stuck, or maybe unfortunately met with an accident. Do I have a logistics business network which can do track and trace? And I think, those are the kind of technologies which are also coming out, probably to add certain more reflection to it. Some of the companies are also talking, they're saying, why an accounts payable function is a function which spends money. Why can't it be a profit center? Can I generate as an accounts payable department savings for my organization, and not only savings, but probably have a better terms negotiated with my suppliers, basically to pass on that benefit to my organization. And I think this is where the technology is ready. A lot of companies have been using it. The benefits are getting reaped, and I think some of the companies or the panelists are already a customer, to SAP Ariba, and some of the companies are probably getting onto it. And that's where we have seen that in not only in terms of savings, but I think in cycle time reduction. And I think, Mr. Upal mentioned in the beginning, like an Amazon-like experience. I order something in my house, it's there in next 2 days. But when I order it in my organization, it takes 2 weeks. Why is that the case? Or let's say the touchless process, which Sharad was also talking about. So I think, the whole idea is it's not only about cost saving now. Value proposition is becoming important, and I think with the help of data, the visibility, what we are trying to get in, the technology is there to actually take you to the next level. So it's totally beyond cost savings now. We are talking about cycle time reduction, making it easy, supplier experience, user experience. Those are becoming important imperatives, I would say, in the world today in terms of procurement.
And as someone pointed out, it's helping drive compliance as well. So that's added benefit. Rajesh, the pandemic threw up a lot of imbalances in supply and demand. Can you talk about what your learnings were, and how did it force Maruti to reimagine its sourcing and procurement process?
I'm afraid, Rima, again, your question was not audible. I'm getting a lot of metallic sound in between your voice, so not able to hear that. If you can just post that into the chat box.
Post it.
Okay. I think one big learning from pandemic has been, your ability to manage risks. How proactively you can manage the whole risk, and you be an agile organization to change the way you work and change the way you operate. So the whole focus on being risk management is a critical part, where you have a multiple sourcing or multiple routing available. So all the options possible. Can you deliberate that through in the beginning and keep that handy? Then the problem comes in all, because the uncertainty and the whole environment which is unpredictable. I think throwing a lot of challenges to all of us. So as an organization, if you can be agile in your systems and processes, and also you have a very strong risk management practice, I think this is the two key learnings to really manage the whole supply chain is what I'm looking forward to.
Okay, Sharad, if you could share your learnings. And when a company says they're agile, they've got a future-ready supply chain, what exactly does it mean? How would it compare with, say, what it was 10 years ago?
No, absolutely. I think the COVID time, the pandemic time was test, and I think real test of not only supply chain, supply disruptions, not getting into no certainty. So I think the most important part, it again boils down to the right planning, the right understanding, and multiplicity of or keeping the alternatives ready. I would say the multiplicity of options always in hand, and also alternate product. Try and bring another interesting thought which has come, and I'm sure it's applicable to other businesses. How do you bring your partners closer? Let's say downstream integration. See how can you get solutions very closer to your operations to de-risk your operations. How do we use alternate means of getting our product on time, and how do we manage? So it's all about getting your system gets tested, your robustness of system actually was put to test, I would say. And then the most important part is how do you innovate during the time of difficulties. I think that's what, to my mind, pandemic has taught us all, and we have all become more resilient, more adaptive to change. And the technology adoption, procurement being a very conventionally managed and very we used to call it department. Now it's more about business partnering and how agile, how innovative are we in terms of finding the right solutions. That's what pandemic has taught us. And technology adoption, I would say, if the rate was, let's say, 10% or 15% year on year in terms of technology adoption and procurement, my guess and what we are trying to do in Vedanta is we are trying to do it 100%. Complete transformation of the procurement function. And the mindset, what pandemic has done is that has brought the mindset change amongst all of us, all the professionals who sometimes used to think that, that we will do it. There's little merit in doing it. So I guess that's the real crux, if you ask me. And another important fundamental aspect, I would say, which keeps coming, and Ashwini also mentioned, is that how do you look at your procurement function with technology? I would say it has to be faceless, touchless, contactless. And my experience is that not less than 50% of the time, goes in conversations, goes in follow-ups, goes in various discussions, which are nothing but transactional. I think once you save that time through technology, that goes into value addition and business partnering, where you can run techno-commercial initiatives and add immense value to your business.
No, absolutely. The pandemic has been filled with hard lessons, but it's also presented procurement an opportunity to demonstrate its tremendous value. It's catapulted this profession into the spotlight. But I think we have to ask Rajesh sir some questions because he has to leave. So I'm just going to type it here, sir, since there is a audio issue from my end to you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. I think my take on this is customer centricity everywhere always has been in the focus for any function you talk about. More so in the procurement section. Reason being, one is very clearly you have a large variety of non-technology vendors or non-technology understanding vendors who can be with you all the time. So getting them on board, looking at their ability to interact with system and get them on board is the way which we have been working on to ensure that they get benefit of the efficiencies of the system to be there to manage that. So that your whole supplier community could be enabled into one single platform to work with you transparently and creating right kind of values for the organization. That's point number one, and then that too you get from anywhere in the globe for your global sourcing. So that's point number one. Point number two is again for an IT organization. I think experience of everybody to get right decision with a large amount of data which you have is very important to us to work on. Right being that knowing the what kind of trend of buying has been, what kind of trend is happening outside your enterprise. So getting all the data not from within the enterprise, even the outside the enterprise integrated to get the right kind of decision making capability to the whole procurement organization. So getting that whole focus on them to work on to get them right solution is a very critical part to handle that. So absolutely getting a whole your system where the whole customer or user of that is the center of work and you work all system around that is going to be critical and is is already becoming critical.
Thank you, Rajesh sir.
Thank you. I need to quit right now because I have a meeting to catch at 3
Yes,
o'clock with
we
my boss.
understand. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry.
Naveen, the question now is what will be the role of procurement in the new normal? From here on, how do you accelerate?
Yeah, see, Rima, as Ashwani has mentioned, see, we have seen the disruption. The conventional way of procurement was definitely put under a lot of stress and stretch in these times. So I think from here on, a lot of things are going to we have to focus as a professionals. We have to focus on so many new things which was never tried in past. First is about the increased focus, or you have to improve the supplier relationship management. That is such a great key enabler in the entire process. Second, you have to bring all your supplier partners near to your manufacturing location. So basically, more or less, companies like steel companies or other companies, they have to basically migrate their process to our Toyota production system. So which our automotive or FMCG companies they normally do. And third point is basically the human capital. What Ashwani mentioned, it is a very important point, because you also need that capital to the human capital to really basically develop, to bring in the intelligence and to unlock their critical basically time, so that they can invest more time in critical thinking. Because lot of post order issues are there, the conventional normal mundane work is there. With the help of technology, I think that is what wherein we can unleash the timing of the critical resources, so that they can think more critically, they can do more critical thinking and invest their time in bringing more operation excellence with the help of techno commercial things. Then the last point is basically about how the entire evaluation of your supplier partners, localizing, vocal for local, what our honorable Prime Minister always talk about. This is an amazing opportunity, because we believe that this crisis brings a lot of opportunities, new things. And this is the area, I think, where we can build in that system, where we have new supplier partners. You develop those supplier partners, then you make your supply chain in such a way that you are not dependent on so many unknowns. Because every week we are facing those unknowns. It is not that pandemic has gone and all the issues have been stopped. Still, on daily basis, there is some coal issue in China. There are some the entire shipping industry has taken a toll in terms of the cost of the ships and freight forwarders. So every day we are, and China, where in our industry, steel industry, where they control 55% of the global capacity. Even if they sneezes, everybody catches cold. So it is so very important that we have to basically bring in or develop the ecosystem in our country, so that it become independent of the external test. so that the external environment has the least impact on the overall ecosystem. So that is where I think I see a trend going forward, wherein so much of investment is there in terms of supplier partners. Gone are the days where there was a tendency to going to bring in the imported material, or maybe to partner with someone abroad. But now I think so much of focus has been there, where we invest our time with them in terms of to develop them, even if they need financing, even in they need financial support, in that if they need the infrastructure development. So I think we are coming forward and investing our time, efforts to grow this ecosystem. That is so very important. If you don't grow this ecosystem, you are again going to face the same issues which we faced during COVID.
Ashwini, which gets us back to the point about this being a network, value being delivered through innovation and a networked function. Can you talk about how from here on companies should be leveraging technology?
Yeah, and I think Naveen hit the right point. With so much happening for vocal for local, like the way we call it as, I think the suppliers also need to pick up their game, and it is again becoming very important that digital literacy reaches everywhere. So to your point, and I think Naveen did hit a very important point around resilience, and then sustainability right on top of it. Is becoming a board topic now. So everybody would like to understand how sustainable my ecosystem is. For example, and I think Rajesh Upalji is gone. So, but he mentioned a very good thing about supplier risk as well. Now it's very important. For example, I'm working with one particular supplier right now, and he could be the top supplier right now in let's say India, but then you don't even know, maybe he's going to file a bankruptcy in US, and I think that's going to bring a lot of trouble back in India, and your whole supply chain can be under danger as well. So is there a way to proactively know what kind of supplier risk are we looking at, and then stop the obvious from to happen basically. So I think the networked economy, and I think the information, the data around the networked economy is going to become very, very important. And I think this is what every company is trying to drive now as a topic. Very, very important in today's world, and that's where I think a lot of discussions are taking place as well. Now, of course, since I come from SAP has those kind of products which can probably help you in order to understand if proactively you can find out if your supply chain is under danger or risk, whether it is financial or environmental or a lot of things are happening. Say, Naveen did mention about if there is a problem in China, we have a problem, and we saw that Suez Canal thing happen. So that's like a natural catastrophe, I can put it as, which is man-made, I would say. But then do we have the signals at the right time to say the Suez Canal is going to be blocked? If you have material coming in from there, 2 weeks, bye-bye, you're not going to have anything actually out there. So I think those are the kind of things which are becoming important. Sustainability is going to be at the top of it. And I think supply chain network itself, I would say it's not a chain anymore, it's a supply network itself, is going to play a very crucial role.
No, absolutely. I think disruptions are just becoming ever so common nowadays. But how easy, Mansoor, according to you, is to get this data? Ashwini spoke about what if, a supplier is likely to file for bankruptcy. If you get some hints about it before, perhaps we could make alternate arrangements. But how easy is it to get this data? And what are the other roadblocks, according to you, in this digital transformation?
So there are solutions, which provide you, these datas. They give you the ratings like green, amber, and red. I don't want to name that organization which provide these kind of solutions, but there are solutions in place. There are companies which gives you these details. And at a global level, if there is any media disruption or is there any bankruptcy filed by any company, they can give you that data. So these things are available with you, but how you have to approach that company to get that data. And as Ashwani said, it is very important to know, to the procurement manager, that whom he is dealing with, how competent that vendor is, and that vendor partner is. And digitization plays a very important role in terms of giving that data to you, and one of our team member, mentioned about, the innovation, the shared success. And we at Reckitt, our core value is we build, shared success, and we believe that, we achieve more when we are trusted partners, so that is a very important, enabler to bridge the gap between, the supplier and the, procurement manager and the company.
Sharad, can artificial intelligence be used for this? Mansoor said in some form or fashion data is available, but even if it's color coded, the procurement process, can it be automated? And according to you, which tasks can be taken over by AI in the future?
See, there are two parts, I would say. I would start with AI. And now you have digital dashboards wherein and the systems through AI has capability to pick up the news bites which are relevant. You can always connect to a network of plethora of websites, information sites, trade association, and what do you call, for example, supply chain, the logistics bulletins. And the idea is to put the keywords, get the search right, and get what you need. So any kind of regulatory change, any kind of supply chain disruption, any kind of geographical issues, so all that can come to you on your dashboard through digital. So the relevant experience, based on your customer information, based on your suppliers information, you can always do that. And that's why AI plays a big role. Second part is the predictability of the system, I would say. Predictability, if you have your entire operation and maintenance digitally tracked, if your digital tools and algorithms can do predictive maintenance analysis, you can always plan your requirement ahead of the curve. And I think that's where, to my mind, technology plays a big role. Coming to procure to pay process, which typically is the procurement process we say, I think to my mind, it starts right from the RFQ stage till the procurement stage and delivered stage. Everywhere technology can play a role. And we talked about Amazon-like experience. Few years back, how many of us would have been talking about the Alexa or Series of the world? Now all of us have got used to it, and that's where I think the whole idea about technology, and when I say faceless, that's what it really means, that if we get used to getting those informations, getting exceptions sounded in terms of voice alerts to us, or systems, management by exception comes through these algorithms, I think that would be a game changer. And that's what is happening. That's where the world is driving to, I would believe.
Ashwini, your thoughts on which procurement tasks can be taken over by artificial intelligence in the future?
No, it's a very, very interesting topic, and I think Sharad mentioned a lot of things, and like he said, every facet of it has a lot of things probably which can be done, and artificial intelligence can play its role. So if you look at it, and I think there are technologies which are coming up, and I think to Mansoor's point as well, there are a lot of companies probably on the rating side of it, which probably can give you a lot of data, whether it is green, red, amber, or whether it is looking at even some sort of a scorecard, in terms of sustainability, or companies who are also looking at, let's say, the environmental responsibility as one of the things. But then you need to scale the solution, and I think that's where AI is going to play a role. So if I just pick up on top of that example, it is very easy to get data across big companies, big suppliers, but when it comes to very small companies who probably are very local to you inside a particular country, that's where a lot of these rating agencies would suffer, and that's where we get AI into picture. We do web crawling, around 800,000 resources are going to be looked at, and AI is going to play a part in machine learning, etc. The moment there is a thread out there in terms of, let's say, ratings coming out from these agencies, or let's say even if they go in a website, or let's say a government portal, or even if it is in the public domain, these crawlers are going to go in and then get you a lot of data insights in terms of having a risk scorecard generated from various facets of actually looking at risk, whether it is environmental or reputational or financial, or we are looking at from an organization standpoint, etc. And I think that's where AI is going to play a lot of role. And mundane works, and I think this is what everybody basically mentioned. Mundane works, AI is going to be very the tasks are very repetitive in nature. That's where AI is going to get in definitely and pick up those certain threads. And if we can, let's say, automate these kind of things, make them touchless, faceless, like the way Sharad was saying, I think that's going to save a lot of time and energy and investment for the companies out there. And probably you can, get that strategic thing or thinking going on in your procurement organization. So AI will have a lot to do in the coming years, and there are certain areas which are already marked. And I think, like the panelists said, things have already started moving on the AI. In fact, SAP has done a lot of AI enablement in its own products as well, and that's a treat to watch, I would say.
Naveen, Rajesh already spoke about customer-centric procurement. Can you talk about how that is being transformed?
See, at the end of the day, the procurement, what it brings in that value. At the end of the day, the goal is basically to ensure that the customer, we have a satisfied customer. So I think with so much of dynamism into play, with wherein we see different orders coming in, and the availability of the material, there's a huge issue in terms of the metal availability. So I think every day a lot of challenges you face from the customers. So because of their demand, because of their requirement, and so many other things, different grades, different SKUs. So the entire thing, I think, then the procurement department comes into picture, wherein they have to make all these plannings, and with this so much of dynamism, and then all these values, creation, like vendor managed inventories, the long term contracts, and the evaluating the things on total cost of ownership, working very closely with your supplier partners, that come into picture. So I think customer definitely is at the key. That is what I think everybody is doing it, and there was so much of focus on the customer things. But I think now there has to be a tectonic shift. Customer is definitely the key, but then now, as I said earlier, also the supplier relationship management will hold a key in driving this process moving forward. And the second one is digitalization, definitely, because we have this because measurement drives the behavior, and your behavior drives the culture of the company. And measurement, how digitalization is going to help is to get all this data analysis. And with so much of AI, we have just spoken on the AI also. You get the trend. Okay, this machine, this sourcing, this much of requirement you had earlier. Now you are moving from it. When this was a peak you have seen. So please beware of that peak. When the commodity prices have hit high, this is how the normal trend of sourcing, strategic sourcing you have. So all these trends are very much available, and it is, I think, we have to just I think brace this technology. I think it will make as Sharad explained, I think 15 to 20% value generation it can easily have. And not about the value creation. I think the number of hours, man hours you unleash from this, because the mundane transactional work, it is so difficult. 60-70% of the time it just goes on follow up with a transporter, follow up with a supplier. So if we can cut all those things, then I think so much of time can be invested in value creation. I think that is my viewpoint on this, Rima.
Okay, on that note, we're going to wrap up this discussion. It's been extremely enriching. I think across the world now, companies have recognized the power of procurement, flexible work forces to achieve cost savings, to bring in agility, and more importantly, reduce risk in a world where supply and demand, as we know, has become increasingly volatile. So truly, today, procurement has assumed strategic operational significance. Thank you, gentlemen, once again, Rajesh, Sharad, Naveen, Mr. Ashwini. Thank you for joining in, as well as Mr. Mansoor.
Thank you so much, Rima.
Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Kubali?
Hi, yes.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I'm recording the intro again because I have to remove Munish, right?
Yes.
And
No,
I have to call Rajesh Maruti Suzuki.
Rima, you please introduce Munish also as well, in case if we get in touch with him later on, and if we
Okay,
need
then
to
how will
edit
you
him.
get questions?
We can record the questions as well for Munish. Individual questions.
ठीक है. But it's very odd randomly na that the flow goes. ठीक है. पक्का लेना है उसको.
हाँ रीमा कर लेते हैं ना, because then मतलब it will be easier.
Okay, ठीक है. Recording. Hello and welcome to CNBCTV.com Industry Knowledge Exchange Conclave powered by SAP. Now we know that enterprises today are facing the pressure to reduce costs, find creative and efficient ways to optimize. One second. Hello and welcome to CNBCTV18.com Industry Knowledge Exchange Conclave powered by SAP. Now we know that enterprises today are facing pressure to reduce costs, find creative and efficient ways to optimize production in a post-pandemic world. One of the key enablers to achieve this big feat is procurement. The onus of establishing economic and business growth in enterprises lies with the procurement sectors and to ensure that companies are equipped with agile functions in a dynamic environment. Today, I'm joined by an esteemed panel of industry leaders who are going to tell us how they are bringing this change in their respective industries to enhance organizational procurement and elevate production and business performances. Joining Sharad Gargia, the Group Chief Commercial Officer at Vedanta Limited, Mr. Naveen Alawat, the Chief of Procurement at JSPL, Mr. Rajesh Uppal, CIO, Maruti Suzuki Limited, Mr. Mansoor Akhtar, the Head of Indirect Procurement South Asia at Reckitt Benckiser, Mr. Ashwani Narang, VP, Intelligence Spend Group, SAP, and Mr. Munish Gupta, the Head of Procurement at HCL Technologies. Recorded intro.
Okay.
Okay, but I have 2 questions for him. Okay?
Rima, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry for the earlier now your frame was different, yeah, because that red thing was coming. So beginning the one, I don't know if you are repeating the questions, but I need you to record the first 3 questions.
Okay, actually, second question, skip. It was for Naveen. Rajesh didn't hear me, he answered. So I'll record 2.
Rima, hello? Can
Yeah,
you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, Munish, I just got a message. Munish just cancelled it. Like he is not going to join in the panel anymore. So we don't need to record his questions. Thank you.
But I have to now do the intro again, minus him.
Yes, only the intro, and we are done with it because we don't need to
Okay.
record
No,
Munish's questions.
Pubali, but her frame was different at the beginning, for the first 2 questions. So you see.
Intro to kar do pehle.
Yes, go ahead, Rima.
Hello and welcome to CNBC-TV18.com Industry Knowledge Exchange Conclave powered by SAP. Now we know that enterprises today are facing pressure to reduce costs to find creative and efficient ways to optimize production in a post-pandemic world. One of the key enablers to achieve this big feat is procurement. The onus of establishing economic and business growth in enterprises lies with procurement sectors and to ensure that company today is equipped with agile functions in a dynamic environment. Today, I'm joined by an esteemed panel of industry leaders who are going to tell us how they're bringing this change in their respective industries to enhance organizational procurement and elevate production with business performances. Joining Sharad Gargia, the Group Chief Commercial Officer at Vedanta Limited, Mr. Naveen Alawat, the Chief of Procurement at JSPL, Mr. Rajesh Uppal, CIO, Maruti Suzuki Limited, Mr. Mansoor Akhtar, the Head of Indirect Procurement South Asia at Reckitt Benckiser, and Mr. Ashwani Narang, VP, Intelligence Spend Group at SAP. I'm asking the 2 questions again. Rajesh, historically, streamlining procurement processes was done to bring down costs. But now we know it's increasingly used as a value enabler. Can you tell us how procurement is making the change from being a cost saver to a key value enabler? Skip question 2R to Rajesh. Naveen, what are the current trends in procurement? In what parts of the procurement process are you using technology? Done?
Yeah, I'm good.
There was one line which I had said after Rajesh's thing. Let me just say that. This is after the Rajesh's answer. I say one point. Okay, so it's not just about bringing down costs or adding value. It's also about achieving a smooth, seamless experience, quite like the Amazon shopping experience. Good point, Rajesh. Naveen, what are the current trends in procurement and what parts of the procurement process are you using technology today? Done. You done? Guys, done?
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Rima.
टीवी पे जाएगा या नहीं जाएगा?
टीवी पे जा रहा है, टीवी पे जा रहा है, पुबाली का आंसर।
अच्छे से टीज करो यार। हाँ? I'm saying अच्छे से टीज करो, मेरे को भी टीज करो।
रीमा, जस्ट वन थिंग, हाँ, पहले जो हमने आपका रिकॉर्डिंग किया था ना, दैट टाइम योर ऑडियो वाज मच फाइनर देन दिस। आपका एको हो रहा है आज का वॉइस बहुत, आई डोंट नो व्हाई।
Must be the room.
Must be the room, yeah. So
But I think I should figure a room. This is एक बार I think Money Control के साथ there was some issue with the network in office only, one of these conference rooms. They had to read the whole thing. You know what they did overnight? They sat and wrote questions again, but they just flow the questions page. And then we had to record it the next day. It was such a waste of effort for everyone.
Hi, Rajesh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. ठीक है, चलो.
ठीक है, thank you so much, Rima, for your
I
time.
just figure the room better then.
Yeah, next time, please. Thank you. Bye. Pubali, ending the recording. Okay.